Well, today we're speaking with Corey Skinner, and the topic is the intelligent supply chain, the influence of AI and machine learning and other technologies. So, my first question is, can you first define the intelligent supply chain?
Yeah, hi Dustin, sure thing. So my name is Corey Skinner. I'm the founder and CEO for RoadLaunch and Factor. And in my mind, the intelligent supply chain is one that takes, advantage of available data and then brings them together in a workflow or a set of automation that is, what I'd like to call next generation. So they're user driven, they're sophisticated yet simple processes.
So, can you talk about what influence does AI and machine learning and these technologies, what kind of influence do they have on the intelligent supply chain?
Yeah, of course. Our focus with Road Launch and Factor is focused on next generation supply chain, and so what we mean by that is we like to be able to work with specific companies and the relationships within their supply chains, whether it's their suppliers, their warehouses, their distribution facilities, third party logistics providers, or otherwise. And in the process, we like to look at all of the data. We look at all of their processes to find out a better or a smarter way. Because of that, things like AI can play a part because you can use some pretty advanced tools out there to be able to take a look at data and automate visibility into advanced analytics. Or in the case of smart contracts, we take advantage of Hyperledger Fabric in order to take all of those business relationships today that are in their supply chain, those customer supply chains, and provide true trust and traceability in them. Not so long ago, and in a lot of cases even today, the operations of these companies is very, very manual. It's complicated, it's complex, it's time intensive. And because of that, these technologies allow you to get better traceability and better trust into what's happening in your business. This is kind of how we see these technologies playing a part, and of course how we like to work towards what we call next generation logistics supply chain.
And how should we prepare for this future?
I think that's a really tough question. In a lot of cases for the customers we work with, we see that what we have is simply just not a great fit. Whereas for others, it's absolutely incredible. These are businesses that are looking for something that's next generation. They see that there's a large opportunity to provide trust and transparency. There's a lot of opportunity to take advantage of technologies that are trusted and proven. Whether it's an IBM Watson component for cognition, whether it's Hyperledger Fabric for trust and traceability. These companies have to define what are their use cases, what are their business problems, and then of course, don't put a square peg into a round hole. They need to be able to outline what it is that they see as their strategic objectives, and of course, find the right technology to align with it.
Can you talk about where you've seen some success?
Yeah, in a few places. We have been very fortunate over the last couple of years to work with great partners. And because of that now, we've done work in a variety of areas to help with, removing the friction from cross-border trade as an example. We have been able to work with medical devices manufacturers in order to optimize their supply chain right at the patient's bed. And most recently, what we're doing is working with finance partners on our digital wallet solution so that we can facilitate the whole process of cross-border transaction. And we do this in a way where it's trusted, it's transparent, and it's fairly low cost. So we've seen successes in a few areas, quite honestly.
Thanks, Corey. And can you provide a brief background of yourself?
Sure. I have been fortunate enough to work with a lot of great companies with some really, really good brands. Starting off in the space, around technology and then enterprise, so connecting, disparate data systems into an enterprise resource plan, I think control tower, this type of thing. After that, I worked with other companies around demand forecasting and inventory optimization. Shortly after that, I've more focused on the supply chain side. mostly in logistics. So think ground freight and ocean freight. That led me to a couple of years back founding RoadLaunch and Factor, our digital wallet solution. And here we are today, less than 2 years, and we're in multiple countries, and we're an IBM partner, and I guess life is good.
Thanks, Corey. And did you have any other images or the slides you wanted to show? I'm not sure if did we cover everything you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I can go through a few slides. And so I have these here today that kind of talks about RoadLaunch, our smart digital logistics platform, Dustin. So I'll run through them real quickly. Let me know if you're able to see, of course. So the first one is about us. So, you know, our mission is to bring, you know, smart contracts and trust and traceability to logistics supply chain. This is what we call next generation logistics. And we do this in a way that allows large companies to be able to provide trust and traceability into their logistics supply chain. So working with their ERPs, their warehouse management systems, their suppliers, their customers, et cetera. And so we do it in a way that allows them to take our server, we white label it, we customize it, it's their data, it's protected, it's private, it's secure. And then we help them with automating their workflows for, you know, efficiencies and lower operations and cross-border settlement costs. This is basically the solution we have, where it's instant. We do audit and reconciliation globally, where have third-party security checks and audits that make sure that not only can we do flexible payments, but it's actually based on, you know, our finance partners. It's not some idea of some random token or some cryptocurrency. It's just not that at all. We like to look at, you know, logistics supply chain from a different angle, where the customer today needs to reach the truck, and you see this in this view of the top to the bottom. Unfortunately, there's a lot of manual activities, and reaching all the components within your supply chain can be quite a challenge. So we like to take what is a traditional view with this, which has a lot of manual efforts, and then convert it to something like this, where the customer is still front of mind and getting access to trucks and trailers, access to warehouses and distribution, ERPs, et cetera, is a more linear component. And as we'd like to pull in data, we optimize those processes and give them, you know, trust and transparency. And we do this now in a few different ways, which is, you know, connecting to SAP, connecting to the warehouses, to ocean freight, air freight, expedited for, you know, warehouse inventory optimization, but also high value goods that is very time sensitive. We wrap all of this, of course, on the RoadLaunch platform for those customers and give them, you know, instant traceability into their logistics supply chain right back at the quote level. Factor then helps us to facilitate the cross-border transactions, so it's quite elegant. And then last but not least, we like to focus on just these components when we think about, you know, what is the future of logistics supply chain. Digitization wherever possible, blockchain for smart contracts and trust, prepaid and token wherever we can provide credit facilities or instant settlement, and of course, trust and traceability. And then last but not least, I mean, here's some of the highlights and value that we can provide. We like to be able to say that, you know, we're not a fit for everyone and we're not going to fix all your problems, but if you have an organization that is looking for, you know, something that's different, that's truly next generation, there is an opportunity for us to maybe help you with your logistics supply chain, or at least provide some insights into what has worked for some of our other partners or customers. But I guess that's it, Dustin. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again for sharing. And I'd love to hear your updates in the near future on the intelligent supply chain.
Yeah, it would be our pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity of, you know, speaking with you today, and yeah, appreciate it.